Hey guys, I'm Mr. Hark, and today I've got the 2 creepiest Bigfoot encounters I've ever heard or seen, because these come with actual footage. In one clip, Bigfoot, according to the footage, apparently broke into someone's house while they weren't home. They had no idea how or why it got in, and their neighbor captured it on a drone, digging something in the yard. What that creature was digging for, and what they found afterward, was creepy. I won't spoil everything because I've got some seriously crazy and chilling stuff for you today. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who still doesn't believe in Bigfoot. Let's begin. Back in October of 2001, something came up to my house in the hills and killed my dog, shook him like a rag, broke him open. And 2 days later, I caught it on a trail camera. I mean clear, full thing, not some shadow. Not a blur. And I'm sure it wasn't a bear. And before you think I'm crazy, I'll tell you this part up front so you understand why I'm even talking. I left that house. I walked away from a place I'd lived almost 20 years. I ain't been back. I still pay taxes on land I won't set foot on. That's what it did to me. I was 46 then. My name's Anna. I was living out in the deep part of the Appalachians. Way back off a dirt road most folks didn't bother with unless they were hunting or lost. We were in one of those hollers where your nearest neighbor is a quarter mile and you maybe see them twice a year at the gas station. I say we, but most of the time it was just me. My husband worked construction out toward the city. He'd be gone 2 weeks, sometimes 3, sometimes close to a month. Then he'd come in for a weekend, bring groceries, fix what needed fixing, stay in my bed 1 or 2 nights, and then he'd have to leave again. That was just the way of it. Work was better out there than in the hills, and bills don't care if you're lonely. I wasn't working then, couldn't. Lost my left leg above the knee in '98. Blood clot. Whole mess. After that, I mostly stayed around the house. There's things I could still do. I wasn't helpless, but I moved slow, and I learned to plan my steps. I had a chair outside the back door, and on decent days, I'd sit out there and watch the chickens, or just listen to the woods. That house was small. 1 bedroom, tin roof. Old dark wood inside that always smelled like it held on to winters from 10 years back. We had TV, but we didn't have a phone. Never needed one, not then. I know how that sounds now, but 2001 wasn't like now. You could still live quiet. Only real company I had was my dog. He was a hound mix, brown and white. Kind of ugly if I'm being honest, but when you live out there alone, that dog is not a dog. That dog is the other heartbeat in the house. I talked to him like he understood English. And maybe he did, at least the parts that count. He knew food, and come here, and inside now, and you're all I got. He'd look at me when I said that last one. He'd blink slow, like he understood. So when I tell you something got to him, you'll understand why the rest of it went how it did. The first weird thing wasn't even the noises. It was the chickens. I had 6 hens. I kept them mostly for eggs. I'd go out mornings, feed them, talk at them, collect what they gave. Keeps you feeling useful, doing that. Gives you a shape to the day. I liked the sound they made. Sort of soft gossip. Then one morning I go out and one's gone. No feathers, no blood, gate still latched. I thought, well, Fox will grab and run. But Fox will leave sign, usually. You'll get a drag path. You'll see where it went under the fence. Nothing. Then 2 nights later, another gone. Now I'm thinking maybe somebody's coming up here. Maybe kids. Maybe somebody messing with me. People do that. They know a woman's alone. They start sniffing around, seeing what they can get away with. That's real. That happens. So I started watching. I'm a light sleeper anyway. I don't really sleep through the night. I doze, wake up, doze again, old pain. The stump will ache in cold weather. I can always tell when the weather's turning because it'll start first thing in the bone. So I'm laying there that night and I hear something. Not like leaves. Not like squirrel noise. Heavier. Slow, like weight. That's the first time I felt it. I don't even know what to call it right. It wasn't fear yet. Not then. It was more like alert. Like my body sat up before I did. You ever get that? Your heart just starts, and you don't even know why, but you're already up, already listening. That. The dog heard it before me. His head popped up, low growl. Not loud. More like a warning he was giving himself. And I remember clear as anything, I thought, that's two-legged, that's not four. It sounded like a person walking slow around the side of my place. That's when I got scared a little, because we don't get visitors at night. People out there, you don't go up somebody's drive after dark unless it's life or death. You just don't. You'll get shot that way. That's not a joke. That's not, mountain people are crazy. That's just manners. So now I'm up in bed, and I'm reaching for the little flashlight I keep on the milk crate by my side of the mattress, and I'm thinking, please don't try my door. Please don't try my door. And whatever it was walked past my bedroom window. Slow, heavy. I didn't see it. I had the blinds mostly down and I wasn't about to flip that light and show I was awake. But I felt it. I heard the wood of the siding complain. The way old wood shifts when weight passes close. I didn't breathe. Dog's growl changed. He went from low to nervous. That little hiccup growl dogs do when they're not sure if they should bark yet. Then it stopped. No more walking. No car leaving. Nothing. And that quiet was wrong. If you lived in the woods, you know night ain't actually quiet. You got bugs, you got owls, you got little things clicking and moving and chirping in the brush. It's never truly still. But that night, for maybe 30 seconds, nothing. Everything shut up, like the whole place was holding its breath. And then, way back behind the coop, I heard branches snap. Not twigs. Branches. That's day one of me knowing something was off. Now, I told myself it was a person. 'Cause that's easier to deal with. You can understand a person. You can point a gun at a person. Next morning I checked the coop. Gate was fine. Lock still on. No sign anything came through. I counted heads. I was down a third bird. So now I'd lost 3 chickens in under a week. I looked for tracks, even with the ground all covered in leaf fall. Nothing clear, just matted leaves like something big had been standing there a while. And this smell. That's actually the first time I smelled it. It hit like wet dog, but sharper, almost sour. I didn't have words for it then. I do now because I've run it in my mind 1,000 times, but at the time I just thought something died near my fence and I couldn't find it. The dog wouldn't go near that spot. He kept pulling back, whining low, tail down. That dog never acted scared of anything in his life, but he wouldn't step in it. That bothered me more than the missing hens. Animals know. After that night, he didn't sleep like he used to. He'd start up around dusk, pacing the door, ears forward, barking at nothing. Not normal barking either. Not his, "Hey, I heard a car" bark. It was this panicked, angry sound that put my nerves up on end and sat me in the living room with the TV volume down to almost nothing because I just needed to hear what was outside. And just about every night that week, around the same time, somewhere between midnight and 2, something would move out there. Not always close. Sometimes I'd hear it out past the tree line, down near the little creek. You could hear water carry sound up the slope and I'd catch these far-off splashes, like something heavy stepping through it on purpose. Not fast, not running, just moving. And every time it happened, the woods would go dead quiet again. It's hard to explain what that does to you when you're alone. People think it's the fear of something getting you. It ain't. It's the knowing nobody's coming. You can scream all you want and nobody's gonna hear you except the thing you're screaming about. That sits in your chest, that builds up. By the end of that first week, I was checking the windows like a habit. I'd roll past in my chair, pull the blind back just enough to look, let it fall again. Check the back, check the coop. Check the edge of the woods. I started keeping the pistol on the side table. I slept with it close, and I never liked guns much. My husband's the gun person, not me. I told myself I was being silly. I told myself you're alone too long and you're working yourself up. Then it got bad. The last normal night, if you can still call it normal, was the night before I lost him. That evening, the dog wouldn't even eat, wouldn't leave the rug by the back door. Kept panting like he was hot, but it wasn't hot. October air had a bite by then. I had to keep my stump wrapped even inside the house, because if that skin gets cold, the ache shoots all the way up to the hip and it's hell. Anyway, I remember talking to him like he was a person. I said, "Buddy, you gotta settle down. You're making me nervous." He looked at me and let out this little sound, almost like he was trying to talk back. That sound is in my head every night when I lay down. He wouldn't even go out to pee unless I opened the door and leaned there with him. He kept his back legs touching my foot like a kid holding your coat in a crowd. That's not how he was. Something had him scared bad. And here's the part that I still can't explain, and I'll swear it's true on anything you ask me to swear on. Twice that night, from out in the trees, I heard what sounded like a person trying to whistle, but wrong. Like somebody who don't know how to whistle good, just blowing air through teeth. 2 tones. Then silent. Then again. Then nothing. You tell me what wild animal does that. I stayed up till near dawn with the TV on low. Old infomercials. Static from the antenna cutting in and out. I don't even remember sleeping. I must have, because I woke up in the chair with a blanket on me and the sun already up. And the dog wasn't in the house. I still don't know how he got out. I really don't. I kept that back door latched. I checked it because I was checking everything by then. So when I woke up and he wasn't there, my first thought was, you left something undone and now you've lost him too. I felt sick. I called him. Nothing. Went to the door. Opened it. Cold air came in. You know that early fall cold that sits in the dirt and just rolls inside like fog? I could see my breath, just a little. I called him again. That's when I heard it. One single yelp, loud, cut short. Not from far either. Maybe 30, 40 feet behind the coop. Then this crack, loud enough I felt it in my throat. I can't tell you what I thought in that second. I don't even know if I was thinking. I just moved. I grabbed the crutch. I got outside. I shouldn't have, but I did. I can't run, but I can move when I have to. I half-hopped, half-dragged myself across that yard, heart pounding like I was gonna pass out. I rounded the corner and I saw him. I'm not gonna pretty that up for you. You want real? I'll give you real. My dog was laid out in the leaves like he'd been thrown there. Not dropped. Thrown. His head wasn't sitting right on his body. His back was twisted up like laundry. One of his legs, front left, was bent clean the wrong way, bone already pushing right through. There wasn't a lot of blood. That's what messed me up. You expect blood when something dies violent. There wasn't. Just spit and dirt and that same sour, rotten smell I'd caught by the coop the other day, only stronger now, thick enough to taste. I started shaking so bad I had to sit. I just dropped down hard in the leaves. Didn't even care if I tore the skin on the stump. All I could say was no, over and over. I was saying no like if I denied it enough, maybe he'd get up. He didn't. I don't remember going back inside, but I did. I know because I locked the door. I locked every window. I dragged the dresser in front of the bedroom door even though I knew that was nothing. That was theater. That was me playing normal rules in a place that wasn't normal rules anymore. I sat down on the floor of the bedroom with the gun and I cried till I couldn't see. And I'll tell you something else I've never told anybody. While I was sitting there, maybe 20 minutes after I found him, something walked past my house again. Same slow steps. Same heavy weight. Close. Close enough I could hear the boards flex, and I could hear it breathing. Not fast, calm, deep, like it wasn't scared of me at all. I buried him by myself that afternoon. I shouldn't have. I should have waited for my husband to come in and help me, but I couldn't leave him out there for one more night. I couldn't stand the thought of that thing coming back and doing whatever it does. So I did it. Took me hours. I had to rest, because digging on one leg wears you down fast. My back was screaming. My arms were jelly. My stump was on fire by the end. But I got him in the ground, wrapped him in one of my husband's old work shirts and a blanket that smelled like the house. I said thank you out loud to a dog. That's where I was at, mentally. When my husband came home, I told him everything. All of it. The chickens, the walking, the smell, the way the woods went quiet, the whistle, the crack. He listened. I'll give him that. He didn't call me crazy to my face, but I could see it on him. I could see him doing that man math in his head. Okay, my wife's alone too long. She's sad, she's scared, she's grieving, she's upset. She's maybe mixing dreams with real. Then he went outside, and I watched him from the window, and I saw it hit him. He saw the grave. He saw the dirt all tore up from me fighting it with a shovel. He saw the drag marks where I'd got the body across the yard. He saw the ground near the coop where leaves were massed down like something big had stood there and shifted its weight. And he came back in with his face white. He didn't say, "I believe you." He said real quiet, "All right, I'm staying." Now, you gotta understand something about him. He's not the sit-around type. When he comes home, he fixes what's broke and he eats, and he's out again next morning. Work, work, work. That's all he knows. So him saying "I'm staying" was big. He also said, "We're getting eyes on it." Next morning he left and drove out to town and brought back a little trail camera. One of those motion ones hunters use. Straps to a tree. Black and green plastic, takes pictures when something moves in front of it. I'd never seen one before. He set it up on the big hickory looking down at the coop and part of the back clearing. He showed me where the little red light would blink when it caught something. He was real calm, real in-control voice, like he used with a kid who's scared of storms. That night he sat up with me. That was the first night in almost 3 weeks I felt like I could breathe. He had his rifle propped on his knee. He had a thermos of coffee. We kept the inside lights off and just let the TV glow blue in the room so we could see each other's faces. Every time the house popped or the wind rattled the tin roof, we both jumped. We laughed about it like it was funny, but it wasn't funny, not really. Around 1 in the morning we heard something move near the tree line. Not walking this time, running. Fast, we both froze. Then from way out in the dark we heard deer blow, that warning sound they make when they're spooked bad, and you could hear them crashing through brush, more than one of them, hauling out of there like something was chasing them hard. Then, just for a second, there was this sound. I don't know how to put it right. It wasn't a howl, wasn't a scream. It was lower than that. It was like pressure, like a deep chest sound rolling across the yard enough to buzz in the window glass. He looked at me, I looked at him. Neither of us said bear, because we both knew better. He didn't go outside. That's important. He's not scared of much. He'll walk out in the dark with a cigarette and a gun and not think twice. But that night, he stayed planted. I watched his hands. They were shaking. Next morning, we checked the camera. Most of the pictures were nothing, just empty yard. Motion false triggers. You could see the co-op. You could see the grave dirt. You could see the back tree line all dark. Then there was one frame, and that frame is why I'm talking to you. The timestamp said 3:12 a.m. You could see the coop on the left. You could see the hickory trunk on the right. And between them, crossing the open part of the yard, was something. I still have that picture in my head, like burned in. It was big. Took up most of the middle. It wasn't standing full straight, more like mid-step, kind of leaned forward like it was moving fast. One arm was down, and you could see how long it hung. Too long. Past where a person's hand would be. The other arm was kind of up, like it had just swung. You could see hair. Dark, almost black. Matted. No snout. That's what my husband kept saying. It ain't got no snout. 'Cause if it was bare, you'd see that long face sticking out. This wasn't that. The head looked, I don't know, big, rounder, like it sat forward off the shoulders without much neck. And the legs. That's what made my stomach go cold. The legs were like a person's legs, bent like ours bend, knee forward, heel up off the ground in mid-step. You could see calf muscle under the hair. People always ask, did you see the eyes? Did you see the face? No. The picture caught it from the side and a little back. It wasn't looking at the camera. Thank God, but you could see scale. You could compare it to the coop fence. My coop fence was just under 5 feet because we'd measured that wire a couple summers before. This thing's hip was above the fence line. I'm telling you plain, whatever was in that picture was taller than any person I've ever seen in my life, and wider through the shoulders than 2 grown men. And don't say costume, don't. I've heard that one. A costume don't snap a dog like a chicken bone. My husband stared at that picture a long time, didn't talk, didn't look at me, didn't react like in those shows where folks start hollering and running around. He just went real quiet, which scared me more than if he'd panicked. Finally he said, soft, okay, we're done here. I said, what do you mean? He said, pack what you need. We're done. Just like that. And I cried again, not because of fear this time, but because I knew he was right. I knew it in my bones. I knew I couldn't stay there another night. I knew if I stayed, it was gonna come back. And I knew, this is the worst part to say out loud, I knew it wasn't scared of me anymore, if it ever was. That's the difference between normal fear and the other kind. Normal fear is something might get me. The other kind is something is letting me live. We left that same day. Before we pulled out, he told me to wait in the truck because he had one thing to do. I watched him through the windshield limp walk. He's got his own old injuries, bad knee from roofing, so he kind of favors one side when he's tired, out past the coop toward the trees. He raised the rifle and fired 2 shots into the tree line. Not at anything, just into it. He stood there a second, staring. Then he spit on the ground, turned around, and came back. I asked him what that was for. He said, respectfully letting them know we ain't prey. He said it like he'd thought about it. You're gonna ask, did we call anybody? Yeah, we did. We went to his buddy first, the one who's sheriff's office adjacent. I won't say county or names, doesn't matter. He looked at the picture and told us flat, I ain't putting this on paper. Said if we wanted to, we could report trespassers harassing livestock, but that was it. He wasn't about to write giant thing killed dog and walked past disabled woman's bedroom window. Then we tried one of those game officers. Same deal. He said black bear, even after we told him no snout, even after we said it walked on 2 like a person. Bear'll do that sometimes, he said, which is not true, and he knew it wasn't true when he said it. He just didn't want to touch it. After that, my husband said, we're done talking about it with people. We're not getting labeled. And we didn't. We stopped. We shut up. We went and stayed where he was working. I slept on a pull-out sofa in some little rented place for a while. It wasn't home, but at least there were other people around, and street lights and noise at night that was human noise, not that dead quiet. I was 24 when this happened. I live in North Georgia, not far off the tree line, where the houses thin out and then it's just woods. I'm not talking pretty hiking trail woods. I mean thick pine, old junk cars, half-burned furniture, game trails, all of it just swallowed by kudzu and brush. You can walk 20 steps off the property line and feel like nobody would hear you if you screamed. I rent a small place near the edge of that. My neighbors on one side, the Tylers, they're an older couple. They've got the property right next to me, same fence line. Around July, they took their RV and went west. They do that sometimes. He does VA stuff, she paints, whatever. They told me to keep an eye on the place, just make sure no one parks back there or tries to strip the shed for copper. That kind of thing happens out here. By the time this happened, they'd been gone maybe 2 months. No cars in their drive, mail on pause. Whole place dark. That matters, because nobody was supposed to be in that yard. Now, that night, it wasn't like we were out hunting monsters or any of that. It was normal. Stupid normal. We were just hanging out. Me, 2 of my buddies I grew up with, and our girlfriends. I think it was a Saturday night, but it might have been Sunday morning by the time all this actually kicked off. Music low, beer, cheap whiskey. We weren't wild. We weren't loud. It was more like that tired kind of hanging out where everybody's talking in circles. I fly drones for fun. That's my thing. I'm not a party guy. I'm not bar scene. I like gear. I work part-time at a hardware store, and when I'm not there, I mess with cameras, RC stuff, that kind of thing. I've got a drone with a decent little light and night mode on it. I use it sometimes to shoot deer out in the back lots, just messing around. I post clips online sometimes. Nothing crazy. It was around 1 in the morning when we first heard it. And I want to explain this right, because this is the part where, looking back, I feel stupid for not taking it serious. We heard something over in the Tyler's yard. At first, it sounded like somebody rattling junk, not an animal sound. Metal, like somebody going through tools or dragging something across concrete. My first thought was honestly just, shit, someone's back there stealing. That's normal out here. That fence line between our 2 yards is junky and low and half broken in one corner. And sometimes people will go back there, cut through, grab whatever they can off someone's property and disappear into the trees. People take lawnmowers, gas cans, scrap metal, whatever. You can lose a couple grand of stuff in under 5 minutes and never catch who did it. So we hear this noise, and my buddy Matt is like, hear that? Somebody's over there. His girlfriend got quiet and just looked at me like, you gonna do something? And I remember thinking, great, now I gotta be the adult. So I kill the music, and we all just listen. And we hear it again, this slow scrape sound. Long pause, not fast. Not panic, not like somebody grabbing and running. More like somebody digging. That's the best way I can say it. It sounded like somebody taking a shovel and pulling dirt up, but heavier than a shovel. Wetter, deeper, like weight behind it. That sound went straight through me. I don't know why, but it did. It was like hearing something you're not supposed to hear. And I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. Because who digs in somebody else's yard at 1 in the morning? So I say I'm gonna send the drone up. Now, I need you to picture where we're standing, because this matters later. We're in my backyard, back porch light barely on. You walk maybe 30 feet and there's the low fence, then their yard starts. Their yard runs a little downhill, then it hits the start of the tree line. There's an old shed that leans to one side, kind of rotted on the bottom, and a bunch of overgrown brush because they've been gone and nobody's been keeping it up. I take the drone out, I boot it. You can hear the little hum of the props, and as soon as that starts, everybody gets quiet like we're doing something official now. My girlfriend is behind me with her arms kind of wrapped around herself, just watching my screen. I lift it up over the fence. Right away I see something's off. The light hits the yard and you can tell there's mess. Stuff that wasn't like that before. I'd been back there earlier that week just peeking through the fence, making sure nothing was busted. But now, on the drone camera, I could see the ground was all scuffed up, like something heavy had been dragged in circles. The shed door was bent out a little at the bottom, like it had been kicked or pulled. I say out loud, "The hell happened back there?" And then I see it. At first, I honestly thought I was looking at somebody crouched, like a guy in a hoodie or something, because the shape was down low, kind of hunched over, back rounded. The drone spotlight hit it, and I realized that hoodie was hair. Brown. Matt said later it looked dark brown, almost black, but on the live screen it looked more brown to me, lighter in some spots like it was dirty or wet. This thing, this figure, was down on both arms and it was digging in the dirt beside this little patch of brush near the back of the yard. I could see its shoulder blades move. I could see how wide it was. That's what screwed me up first, the size. It wasn't some skinny dude. Its whole back was thick. Neck was almost not there. You know how some guys are built so heavy up top it just kind of goes from head right into shoulders? It was like that, except more. And its arms were long. Long in a way that looked wrong on a person. The elbows sat lower than I expected, and the way it dug, it wasn't using a shovel, it was using its hands. You could see the dirt flying back behind it in little chunks. It wasn't scratching cute at the ground. It was pulling dirt out like it was nothing. I'm watching this on the screen and I feel this cold go through me. You know that cold feeling you get when you almost get in a car wreck, where your stomach drops and your fingers tingle? That. I just whispered, "Guys," and my voice cracked and everybody leaned in. Matt goes, "What the fuck is that?" And he says it dead quiet, not loud, like he didn't want to be heard. And I'm zooming a little, steadying the drone, and I'm trying to tell myself it's a bear. That's what my brain is saying. Bear. Has to be a bear, maybe with mange or something. I'm almost trying to force it to line up with what a bear is supposed to be shaped like. But it wasn't moving like a bear. Bears dig, sure. I've seen video. They kind of paw, they rock their whole body, they're fast, but it's a swiping motion. This thing was scooping. It had its weight forward on one arm, and it was using the other like you dig with your own hand. Curl, pull, throw. Curl, pull, throw, over and over. Fast, but controlled, like it had done this 1,000 times. And then it stopped. It just froze, like a statue. And then, this part is burned into my head. It turned its head and looked straight up at the drone. Not just looked up, tracked it, found it, locked on. We all saw the face at the same time. My girlfriend made this sound in her throat, like she was trying not to scream. The light hit the face, and for a split second, I swear it looked mad. Not scared, not surprised. Mad. The eyes caught reflection. That was the worst part. I still see that. You know when animal eyes shine back at you in a spotlight? It had that, but dimmer. More like a flat amber. Too human, but not. I don't know how else to word it without sounding stupid. And we heard it. We heard it breathe. The drone doesn't pick up a lot of audio at that distance, but standing in my yard, we heard it. It was like a hard push of air, not quite a growl. more like someone who'd been lifting something heavy and then just let the breath punch out. And then everything went quiet. When I say quiet, I don't mean, oh wow, the night is still. I mean the bugs stopped, the frogs stopped. The whole tree line just muted. Like the second this thing noticed us, the rest of the world didn't want to be part of it. That silence made my eyes water. I don't know why. It just hit me so hard I felt tears come up. I was shaking and I didn't even realize I was shaking until later. I whispered, "Do you guys see that?" And all I got back was breathing. Then it stood. That movement didn't look like anything I've ever seen. It was big. I don't want to guess a number because everybody lies about height, but I'll say this, we've got a fence between the properties, maybe 5 feet in the low spot. It turned, slow, deliberate, and it took 2 steps toward the tree line at the very back corner of the yard. There's this one big tree there, kind of bent forward. I've leaned on it before when I've been talking on the phone. It went right behind that tree. I followed with the drone. I tilted forward. I swung to keep line of sight. Nothing. I don't mean I lost it in the branches. I mean it should have been right there behind that trunk, and there was nothing. No movement in the brush, no black shape, no shaking limbs, nothing pushing past. It was just gone. I froze. I didn't even think to pan left or right because my brain just couldn't accept that. I'm hovering there over the yard with the drone light pointed at empty brush, and I felt this weight in my throat, like I was gonna throw up. Matt finally said, "Where'd it go?" And I couldn't answer. I just kept saying, "No, no, no, no," under my breath. Then the girl started freaking out. My girlfriend's friend was crying. Not screaming, crying. Just this quiet panic cry like she was trying to hold it in and couldn't. My girlfriend kept saying, "Alex, get it out of there, get it out of there," meaning bring the drone back. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to bring the drone back down. I didn't want to take my eyes off that yard. I didn't want to stand there in the dark with nothing watching it anymore but my own eyes. I felt like if I landed it, I'd look up and that thing would be standing at the fence. That's how scared I was. Now, here's where we got stupid. Instead of calling the cops right away, we decided to go over there. I know how that sounds. Believe me, I've replayed it 1,000 times, and it's the part where I scream at myself. But in that moment, it didn't feel optional. We had this idea in our heads that somebody had been in that house. Maybe squatting, maybe doing something messed up, maybe burying something. And we had this video now, and we were all hot off adrenaline, and you get that dumb bravado where you think, we'll just go look, real quick, just to see. So we hop the fence. Right away the smell hits. It smelled like wet dog, garbage, and something else, coppery, thick. It sat in the back of your throat. The dirt where it had been digging was soft, almost muddy. It wasn't super deep yet, maybe a foot down at that point, but it was wide, like it had been working that same spot for a while. And there was something in it, bones. We all kind of leaned in at the same time, and then all of us yanked back like it burned us. There were bones in the dirt, not laid out neat, not buried proper, just thrown in there, different sizes, all kind of stuck in this dark, wet soil. Some still had stuff on them, some were clean. I saw ribs. I saw something that looked like a leg. My first thought, and I'm not proud of this, was, oh my God, that's a person. My girlfriend grabbed my arm so hard her nails broke skin. I still have little white lines. She said, that's human, over and over. She was saying it like a prayer. Like if she said it first, she could warn reality and get a head start. I could feel my own pulse in my teeth. And that's when I got scared in a different way. Not scared of the thing anymore. Scared of what we just stepped into. Because this wasn't our property. We were standing in somebody else's yard, digging in a hole with bones in it, with alcohol on our breath, in the middle of the night. If this turned into cops and tape and paperwork, we were in it. Whether we wanted to be or not. I said, nobody touch anything. Nobody move anything. We're calling 911. I was shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. Now, this part I remember too clear because it's burned in. The operator asked if anyone was hurt if someone had broken in. I said we thought we had trespassers and we found bones. She went real serious real fast. She asked, are you saying you found human remains? And I said, I don't know. I'm not saying that. I don't know what I'm looking at. She told us to step away from the area and wait for deputies. So we're standing there in the dark. No bugs, no night sounds, just that smell. all of us facing the tree line like we're on watch. And I swear to you right now, I have never felt that watched in my life. Not before and not since. It felt like when you know somebody is right behind you, but you refuse to turn around, except it was coming from the trees, just past where my light reached. Like something was out there, not rushing us, not hiding scared, just waiting. We waited maybe 10 minutes. Felt like an hour. Deputy finally shows up, plus another car. Lights all over the yard, flashlights on us. Questions. Who are you? Why are you here? Where are the homeowners? All of that. We looked guilty as hell. I know we did. I kept saying, check the footage, and the one deputy just kept saying, we'll get to that, like he'd heard every crazy story and wasn't about to play along. When they finally looked in the hole, everything changed. You could see it on their faces. They both leaned in, then one of them pulled the other back real fast and said, low voice, don't touch that. Exact same words I'd already said. That made me feel a little less crazy. They pushed us back toward my yard and told us to stay there. More cars showed up after that. Somebody took my statement. Somebody asked how much we'd had to drink. I told them. I didn't lie. I figured honesty would make it better. The girls were both in shock. Matt looked like he'd been hit in the face. One of the deputies finally came over and told us what they thought they were looking at. He said it didn't look human. He said most of what they could see looked like deer, maybe dog or coyote. He said some of it was older, some newer. He said, looks like something's been killing out here and caching it. Caching means storing. Stashing food. I didn't like that word. Because that means whatever was digging wasn't burying. It was unburying. It was coming back to eat. They asked if we'd seen anyone on the property. I said, not someone, something. And I told him straight. I didn't say Bigfoot. I didn't say monster. I just described it exactly like I saw it. The arms, the size, how it moved, how it looked straight into the drone. The deputy didn't laugh. I'll give him that. He just stared at me, and after a second he said, we get bear calls. We get trespass calls. We don't get a lot of this. Then he told me to send the footage to an email, and that was that. They taped off the yard. They stayed out there till sunrise. Here's what messes me up most, even more than the hole. Later, after everybody cleared out, after the girls went home and Matt finally left because he said he couldn't be here anymore, I sat alone in my living room with the drone controller and I replayed the clip. I watched it frame by frame, and then I watched the moment it stopped. You can see it in the footage. There's this half second where it just freezes like it heard something. That had to be us. It had to have heard us talking, even though we were whispering. It had to have heard the props from that far away. It knew right then that it was being watched. And when it looks up into the drone, it doesn't look confused. That's the part I can't get over. There was no, what is that, in its face. It wasn't startled. It wasn't scared. What I saw, and I hate that I'm saying this out loud because it sounds insane, was awareness. It was like it was annoyed. Like, you again. Like this wasn't the first time. That idea keeps me up at night. Because if that wasn't the first time, then how many times did it come up to that fence line and we just didn't know? How many nights did we sit out there with the fire pit and talk and laugh and it was 20, 30 yards away in the dark, quiet listening? How many times did I take the trash out and feel weird and just brush it off? People ask, why didn't you post the video? I did, for like an hour. I put a short clip up, nothing crazy, just the part where you can see the shape digging and then looking up. I blurred the Tyler's yard because it's not my business to show their property. I didn't say Bigfoot, I just said something was on private land. Within that hour, I had comments calling it fake, calling it a guy in a ghillie suit, calling me an idiot. I also had 2 messages from accounts with no profile pictures telling me I should take it down because it was active evidence in an investigation. That freaked me out enough that I deleted it. I still have the raw file. I've shown it to a few people, in person, not online. Some believe me and some don't. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Belief doesn't change what happened. Since that night, I don't go outside after dark without a light and something in my hand. I know that sounds paranoid. I don't care.